Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? It's Chris and Aaron back again for another week episode of Angler Talk. How we going, brother?
Good, man. Good. Looking forward again to another, episode with some great guests, dude. I mean, we got one on a whole nother spectrum, and then we got one on a whole nother spectrum. So
yeah,
having guests like that, dude, it's really good, man. It's really good for the listeners and us,
Absolutely, man. But before we get into that, let's talk about some fishing reports. How's it going down there in Florida for you?
Yeah, with the heat, it's just been increasing slowly, and being more and more hot. But the lake, Headwaters Lake, Lake Garcia, and then we're fishing Stick Marsh a little bit more. If you're not out there at first light or right before dusk, it's slow. You got to find that deeper water, that transitioning depth where you're actually targeting these fish in the climate they want to be in. I go out there thinking that I can run top water till noon and do something because it's my favorite way of fishing for these bass. But if you don't adapt with the climate, man, you're not going to be productive. Sebastian Inlet has been off the freaking hook lately, dude. Some live shrimp, bro. Little bit of leader, dude. Little slider weight, man. You can sit out there on outgoing tide, even incoming, and catch your full of snook. And then you got a plethora of different species you can pull out from underneath that pier. So fishing's been good. You just got to know when to fish. That's all.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I finally got out last week, and I went out on Sunday with a fellow member of the High Marsh Striper Club. Invited us out. Me and Claudia, and Claudia got her first ever striped bass on a jig, and she was that was fun to watch. I still couldn't get her to hold the fish, but she did her thing when she first hooked it. She's like, "Oh my God, I got a shark!" But I got some pics of it, and I came in with a 36 incher, I should say, excuse me. And we did have some great fishing with Harry. The boat's name is Muscles Magoo. And,
that's a good name. I like that one.
It is, man. And I gotta be honest, man. He did his thing. He put us on some fish, and we had a great time. I've been seeing a lot of reports that the fluke fishing has been heating up. Sea bass are doing really, really good. And in South Jersey, the weak fish. This morning, I saw a report from one of the guys out of Atlantic City Saltwater Anglers. He actually has the first place in the land-based tournament for weak fish. Got a nice 25 incher. Wow. So that was something really, really nice to watch, man. And also, my morning has been jam-packed with talking to people, possible guests on the show, and I'm really excited to see in the next few weeks the people that we're going to be having on here. As you mentioned today, we got some guests. We got Jake. He is a rod builder for Mudhole, also does his own thing on the side. Young kid, man, but he definitely knows what he's doing for sure.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy, man. When you think about it, Chris, if we were, just an inch, if we had an ounce of what this kid has back when we were his age, dude, I mean, God only knows where we'd be today, right? So, guys, if you're listening to this, man, you got to give this guy a follow. I mean, this kid not only is building rods, but he's investing in the people around him that have goals and that inspire to do better. So, I mean, how do you not look, up at that? I mean, he's a really nice guy. You definitely got to check him out for sure.
All right, so we got a small segment with Jake, and I hope you guys enjoy. I mean, there's only so much that we can actually talk about rod building, so maybe you guys get a little bit of insight of what's going on, all right? I hope you guys enjoy. And here we are, folks, with Jake Hutchison from Impact Rods out of Orlando, Florida. How's it going, brother?
I'm great. How are y'all? Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. It's good to have you on.
Thank you. How y'all doing today?
I can't complain, man.
Yeah, no, I've been following you for quite some time, Jake, man. I mean, you're doing really big things over at Mudhole, dude, and not only at Mudhole, man. Like, if you can give the viewers and the listeners something, a little bit of your background, that would be great, dude. Because like I said, I've been following you for quite some time now, and I see some things from the Harley Davidson tournament to the high school fishing league to the future filming, bro. Like, there's so much you got going on, man. So fill us in a little bit.
All right, so I guess I've just always loved fishing. One of my first memories is fishing in a little lake near my house, and eventually it took me to tournament fishing. My dad brought me to this club called TSA when I was in middle school, and I started fishing tournaments hard through middle school and high school. I loved it. Bass fishing tournaments all over the state, a little bit out of state too. I just couldn't get enough of it. And then at one point I got kind of burnt out, fell out of love with it, started doing more saltwater after I graduated high school. And well, I guess somewhere in there around middle school or early high school, I started building fishing rods too through a mud hole. Mud hole is 30 minutes from my house, just out of luck that happened to be close to my house. And I would go over there. My mom would take me over there. She bought me my first hand wrapping kit so I could like wrap rods in my hands. And boom, I was in love with that immediately. Turned it into a business and a hobby pretty soon after, and just ran with that. And
that's a pretty amazing story, man. And if you're a fisherman, die hard or even novice, that mud hole makes a pretty badass rod, and those blanks are great. So like, if you want to talk about like maybe walk some of the viewers out to like what is the process of building a rod and what do you look for while you're in the process of building a rod?
Definitely. So pretty much you have to start by finding all your components. Like you have to match everything up for the rod to the guides to the color thread you're using for your fishing, for like where you're fishing. And so you get all the components and then you glue the handle on, you glue the reel seat on, you line everything up, and then you put all the guides on the rod and then you wrap them all with thread. Like each guide is wrapped around and around with tiny thread. And then it's all epoxied over, like 1 to 5 coats of epoxy. It's a long process. It usually takes about a week for a rod. You can get it done in a day if you really try, but like it should really take a week to do it.
So I say like the rods to me, Chris, like building a rod is almost like building a plug. I mean, it's probably pretty much dead on, dude. So when you catch something on that rod that you just painstakingly sweated over trying to get right, dude, I mean, the payoff has got to be out of this world, right?
It's pretty incredible. And especially when I think the coolest thing about it is like I can be on a specific bite and I make a rod exactly for that bite, for that time of year, for that spot. That's so cool when you can go use that for that specific thing and catch a fish on it. That's just, you can't beat that.
Absolutely, man. I agree. And there are guys out there who just be like, oh, why do you buy this expensive stuff or this particular rod? You don't need that. One rod to serve you for everything, but they don't get it. It's like rods to us fishermen are like tools to a carpenter. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You can't expect a hammer to do the same exact job that a drill does. So a lot of people don't get it.
I have a lot of people ask me to build them a rod that they can catch a bass on, but also take offshore. And I'm like, that's not a thing. It's just not possible.
That's not going to work, bud. So, okay. Now, as far as your rod building is concerned, I know you have your own business, Impact Rods. And what is your specialty? Are you more into like the crazy designs, or is it just, I don't really care if it looks super sick, but as long as it does the job is what I want? Or do you just want a little bit of both?
The best of both worlds. The main purpose of a rod is to just do its job. At the heart of it, it has to do its job or else it's useless. So I'm tedious with the guide spacing and putting a reel on it and test casting and messing around for way too long with it. So I like to get it as fishable as possible, but then I also love the colors and like the decorative design aspect of it, because I love playing with the colors and like it's kind of my art form. I get to express myself that way. I can't paint, I can't draw, but I know how to put a fishing rod together and make it look badass.
And that's sick, dude, to be honest, Chris. I mean, because I've watched like countless videos. I'm a plug builder, right? And I haven't been able to put my hands on a lathe and actually turn a piece of wood in quite some time now. And I've watched videos leading into the plugs of how like you guys intertwine the wrappings and like do this decorative overcrossing and I'm probably butchering all this, dude, but like it is sick how intense the wraps could possibly get,
I agree, man. And I've seen guys with these rods that look like Christmas trees, and then I look at them and I'm like, what the hell were you expecting to do with that? You know what I'm saying? I get it. I mean, hey, it's your money. Please spend it however you want it, man. But like when you got these rods that have like freaking rhinestones in it, and I'm just looking at it like, what the hell? But up until about a few years ago, I never had a custom rod. And a buddy of mine named Captain Eric Kerber hooked me up with a guy named Rick from Rat Sticks here in Jersey. And, just seeing what it takes to building a custom rod and knowing the science and the inches from the guides and everything that you have to do, you gain a newfound respect for what these guys do. You know what I'm saying? And an art form in itself. But, some of the stuff that you guys do is just out of this freaking world, man.
It's wild. And I think to your point of like the crazy rods look like Christmas trees, there's a fine line between like a really clean, good looking custom rod and something that's way overboard. So
yeah, exactly. I agree.
Balance that out.
No, I'm glad you said that, dude. So Jake, give the listeners again, dude, a little insight of where your company is headed, dude. And do you have anything coming up in the near future? Any goals that you maybe are trying to hit or surpass? I mean, anything new for the company?
Well, I'm kind of at a crossroads with the company, to be honest. So I love making rods, and like I said, that's how I can express myself. One of the ways. But I'm stuck in the shop by myself for hours on end. I love being out there with people and like making videos and doing social media stuff. So I'm kind of juggling 4 different lives right now. Like I'm doing the rods, the social media for Mudhole, social media myself, and then also an eBay business. So I'm like trying to figure all that out and balance that and figure out what to really do. But right now, I think I want to start making a little bit, like a few less rods, but like really, really true custom rods. They're just beautiful, and I can make them as nice as I possibly can. Just really high-end rods. That's what I've been enjoying lately.
Kind of like a small batch kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe a boutique custom rod builder. I guess you can say that.
Yeah, there you go.
So I gotta. I'm sorry to cut you off, Aaron. I gotta ask you a question. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know if you really want the answer, but I would probably say like 14.
Nah, bro.
No, I'm 22.
Yeah, you're 22.
I just don't have facial hair. I don't get New Jersey guys have facial hair when you're 7.5. I still haven't got mine yet.
That's right. And they also lose their hair at 7.
Hey, man, in Jersey, it's rough. I mean, just like I was telling you before we got on the air, you know what I'm saying? It's 93 one day and 52 the next,
that's wild.
Gotta be built for that.
That's wild.
But what I was going to say before I cut Aaron off, I'm sorry about that, but, you're at that age where, you're going to have like 6 or 7 different things in your life, and then eventually you're going to figure out exactly what it is that you want to do. So I'm pretty sure that just from hearing what you're saying, so I can tell you're very, very passionate about it. So I'm pretty sure that by the time you're our age in your 30s and stuff like that, you're going to be full on grab the bull by the horns, and this is I'm rod building. That's what I'm going to do for sure.
I'm just at an age where I figuring everything out, trying a bunch of stuff, but I think you're right. I'll figure it out what I want to hone my focus on.
Absolutely.
You're
22. Enjoy being 22.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the fullest, but at the same time, dude, I mean, you're not doing it wrong. You're branching yourself out there in a bunch of different kind of aspects and avenues that you possibly want to take further in life. And I mean, seeing what fits for you, dude. So if I could give any kind of, how do I say it? Any kind of like advice to anybody your age, it would be that. You know what I'm saying? Don't stretch yourself so thin, dude, but stretch yourself across the field, because you don't want to wake up and be 30 years old in Jersey, freezing your butt off, wishing you stayed in Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I felt like a shot at someone.
Yeah, you took a shot at me right there. I was thinking about taking a shot at him, but I didn't. But now,
I love you, bro. It's all love. Stop it.
For guys like us to be able to try and give some type of advice, and then we think about what we did when we were 22, I'm not 100% sure that we're in that position to do that.
I agree. But no, you got a good head on your shoulders, Jake, man, for sure, dude. And I'll tell you one thing that I like. I really like is the future filming. So I'm not sure if you're behind the full production in the future filming, or you have another a title for it, dude. But to interview up and coming younger guys, older guys, people that you said have either the same passions or different passions and are fully in on what they're doing, dude, I'm all behind that, bro. So tell the listeners a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think that's also kind of my end goal in life, to be sort of a student of life and a teacher. I love just to help people and teach people things they wouldn't otherwise know, I guess. And I feel like there's a big gap missing just in the world, and especially on the internet, of kids that are like passionate about something, that are really doing it, and that I see potential in. And I also kind of want to follow them throughout their life, and maybe go back once every 2 years and interview them again and see where they're at. So people can look back at this and like see the journey of somebody who's going to be successful from before they were successful. But I guess the main part is just helping kids out, showing them like all these different jobs and opportunities that they didn't know they could do. When I was in high school, I felt like I knew everything, but obviously I knew nothing. And I didn't know I could be a social media guy from Mudhole and get paid to make TikToks. I had no idea. I didn't know that a month before I started.
Right.
But so I feel like I have to be the one to just expose that to the world, all these cool jobs. I didn't know that I could have a cool podcast like this and make that my whole job one day. Like, that's just not stuff that we're necessarily told. And I'm not a hater of the education system. My whole family are teachers, but I just think there's a few things we don't learn and have to learn on our own. And I would like to be the one to help kids and people figure that out, all the cool stuff they can do in life.
That's awesome, man. And I give you a big kudos for that one for sure. And so we spoke about the business, spoke about you a little bit, but you are on the podcast named Angler Talk. So we gotta talk about fishing. You touched base on how you started, bass fishing and stuff like that, and you went on to the saltwater world, and in my opinion, you went on to the better world. But what is something that you love to target, and you just can't, no matter how many times you catch it, you gotta go back for more?
Honestly, this is a basic answer, but everything. I just love fishing. I will go catch anything. I just love it. But right now, I'm back on bass. You're not gonna like to hear that, but no, I'm back on the bass hard.
It's all good, man. I was actually just downstairs watching a couple of YouTube bass fishing videos, and it's not my game. It's not that I don't want to catch a bass. I'm gonna be honest, I suck at it. Freshwater is just not my game. But I know Aaron has been down there at Headwaters in Florida catching a lot of bass, making me jealous up here. That's for sure.
Yeah, Headwaters ever a lake that you fished it?
I have not. We talked about going there a couple times with Mudhole, but I haven't made it out there yet. How is it?
It's one of them lakes, man, to where you're gonna make that 4 or 3 hour drive, dude, as much as friggin' possible, bro. Like,
wow.
You feel like when you hit that lake, it feels like old Florida, and the possibility of a record bass being the next bass, dude, is like super, high on the possibility list, dude. But Headwaters been good to me, dude. I've been out, I think about a week ago was the last time out, and we had a couple 4 close to 5 pound bass being caught, dude. And that's like an average bass, bud. You know what I mean?
Wow. I remember my friends were talking about it like years ago before they opened it up and put the boat ramp there. You could only go on a kayak, and there was this woman on YouTube who would fish out of a kayak and hit headwaters all the time, and it was insane. And we just never made it out there, but I've heard about it for a while, and I would like to go.
It's nice. I mean, and it's one of them lakes that I don't feel is 100% pressured, because it's so vast and it's so like, how do I say, unmarked in a way. So if you really don't spend your time out there with your electronics and actually learn the lake, you're going to stick to the deeper water, or where it's not full of hydrilla. Like, you're going to go to the safe zones, let's call it. But there's so many other areas, dude, that like are maybe a foot deep that dump into a 20-foot hole that nobody ever fishes. That's as wide as a football field. You know what I mean? Like, unreal, man. Yeah, you got to get out there for sure.
Okay. Do you fish there on a kayak or a bass boat?
I actually fish it on my flats boat, dude. I take my 60-foot fishing craft out there, and I'm skipping across the friggin' hydrilla, and everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy, dude. But no, it's like a perfect boat for being out there for me. I mean, other than a bass boat, of course.
I mean, hey, my only worry about Headwaters right now is that, we talk about it so much on the show that people are actually going to just start going there, and then they're just going to call us a bunch of spot burners. That's my only worry about Headwaters at the moment.
We'll bleep it out.
It's called the farm pond, dude. We're talking about the farm pond, guys. Headwaters sucks. It's horrible, Jake.
So you're based out of Orlando, Florida. What kind of saltwater fishing do you do up there? And you obviously fish the Atlantic side, right?
Yes, I mostly fish Atlantic. I've only been to the Gulf side a handful of times, actually. I grew up going to St. Augustine, which is a lot of beach fishing for us, and then a lot of like oyster bars back in the intercoastal. Redfish, trout, flounder, a little bit of tarpon recently. But around here in Central Florida, mainly snook, tarpon, and redfish. I just can't get enough of that lately. Like, stuff like y'all do for stripers up there, same thing here. Jetties, inlets, beaches, tops of bridges. We go on the top of a bridge, a drawbridge, and fish down from it all night long. Scary for me because I'm afraid of heights, but it's kind of worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey man, just in case, you did speak about the jetty. If you haven't watched last week's episode, man, I'm telling everybody who fishes jetties, man, you got to check it out. Flip Rocks has definitely got a product that is specifically for people who walk on rocks. And let me tell you something, man, those flip rocks are freaking awesome. They're not going to break the bank. They're going to last you forever, and you can beat the hell out of them. That's for sure. Basically, like flip flops that have corkers on it.
It was when I was just starting to break into the game, dude. I reached out to Flip Rocks, man. One of the first guys that brought me on as a sponsee or an affiliate, you can call it. And when I tell you these friggin' sandals, these flip flops are like the must-have, bro, for a guy in Florida. Because again, you're not gonna want to wear sneakers out there, dude. You know what I mean? But you might wear sneakers because you're afraid of getting your toes all messed up. But these got toe guards, bro. I mean, detachable cleats to go from the boat to the rocks, like.
Oh,
Sick.
wow.
Yeah, sick. You got to check them out for sure.
Sounds like golf shoes for fishing.
Pretty much, man. So there is something, before we let you go, there is something I want to bring up. If people want to check out some of your rod builds and stuff like that, where can they find you at? And I'll put a link in the description down below.
Thank you. So I'm on Instagram at Impact Rods. No spaces, underscores, nothing. I have a TikTok, Impact Rods also. And then just my personal page is hutch.jake. On Instagram too, and I have YouTube, Jake Hutchison, kind of hard to spell, HUTCHESON.
All right, for the people
those are the
watching,
main places.
For the people watching, there'll be some links down below in the description, man. I want to thank you for your time and letting people know what you do. And everybody, Jake Hutchison from Impact Rods. Hope you guys enjoy. Oh man, that was good to hear from Jake out of Orlando, Florida. Impact Rods, man. The kid's got a really good head on his shoulders, and I've seen some of his work on Instagram, man. The kid makes some nice looking rods for sure.
Yeah, he's talented, dude. He's talented for sure. And it's not about the bling for this guy. It's literally about the functionality of the rod. You know, what species you're targeting, what reel you're putting it on, or putting on the rod. I mean, and then, you know, of course, you could put your bells and whistles between different kind of Fuji guides and, you know, the other guys that are out there, different color wraps. I mean, handles, grips, the works, dude. So if you're looking for a custom piece, I'd be picking Jake my damn self. So definitely check him out. Impact Rods is his own company. But, I mean, the guy walks into a candy store every day over at Mudhole. So you guys are going to get quality stuff from this guy.
Absolutely, man. And I don't want some of the people listening who do get all the super bling on their rods to feel kind of like I took a shot at them. I'm just not. I when it comes to my rods, I like simplicity. Like me, my rod could just be all black, all white, whatever. As long as it gets the job done, that's what I'm all about. But hey, your rod is an extension of you, and let it speak to you however you want. You know, and
sure.
that's perfectly cool with me.
No, for sure. I mean, you guys can have a full Eagles logo up and down that rod and still catch the same amount of fish as I do. So don't take it personal. It's just, you know, me and Chris have a certain way that we like our rods and we like our rods built, dude. And, you know, I will tell you, for me, it's all about functionality. It goes to that rod and reel have to complement themselves perfectly. I can't be lugging around a heavier reel on a super light rod. It's got to be balanced, I mean, impeccably. So, you know,
Absolutely.
Definitely check Jake out, man. He'll be able to do that for you for sure.
Another person I had the chance to speak to this week, unfortunately, you had a little bit of a family emergency and you couldn't be there. I did miss you there because she is a trout fisherman without question, and she's pretty badass with the fly rod. That's without question. But this week I sat down with Jordan Jones, the Relentless angler out of Utah, and just got her take on fly fishing and the things that she wants to do with her business and her brand. And I hope you guys enjoy. Check her out. And here we are with Jordan Jones, the Relentless angler. How we doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. It's been a busy week, but we're getting through it.
Yeah, I know. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So you are from the state of Utah, and I've heard a lot about Utah. My first ever charter when I was in the Keys, my customers were from Utah. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's kind of a coincidence, but yeah, they were a great group of people. I heard a lot about the fishery out there. The trout fishing is off
awesome.
The charts.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you guided?
Yeah, I do. I used to do some chartering. I tried to see if I wanted to make it a full-time job, but you know, I just rather just keep it a passion instead of being a job for me. So you know, saying that's why I just stepped away from it, and you know, just let me enjoy it when I can. You know.
Yeah, and you said you're in Florida, right?
No, Aaron is in Florida. Unfortunately, he's not with us because he had some family emergencies. But I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can't tell by your accent.
Yeah, we're below New York. We're not exactly New Yorkers, but yeah, we do have a great fishery out here. And from what I can see, I've been following you for a couple of years now. It looks like you guys got a really great trout fishery out there in Utah. What are some of the main species you like to target out there?
I think just because I'm close, I mean, we have Provo River, which is a blue ribbon fishery, and it's, trout, brown trout, rainbows. My favorite, though, is to go up in the high Uintas and go for tiger trout, for sure. So
Nice. That's cool. I've actually never seen what a tiger trout
you
looks like.
haven't?
Yeah, no, I haven't. But I did see a couple of days ago you posted a picture with a brown trout, and a lot of people ask me like, why is that one of my bucket list fish? I catch all these saltwater fish and stuff like that, but a brown trout is one of those fish that just has just such a unique pattern, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I just want to catch. It's definitely on my bucket list.
I can't believe you haven't caught one. What's in New Jersey? I don't even know.
Jersey is more of when it comes to the trout fishery, it's more like a stocking thing.
Yeah.
So it's mainly rainbows. Every once in a while, you can catch the occasional brown trout out here, but the majority of the trout fishing in Jersey is all about rainbow trout. So you've been fishing for how long? When did you get your start?
I mean, since I was little, I grew up camping, and my dad would take us fishing, and it was the typical like conventional spin rod and a bubble and a fly or power bait,
Yeah.
And I've done that forever, and then I got into fly fishing it's probably been, I don't even know, like maybe 7, 8, 9, something like that years ago.
Yeah.
And I went on a date originally, my first time I went fly fishing. And
that's
I went with this
interesting.
guy and his dad was this amazing angler, and he was like super good at it. And I didn't catch any fish the first time, but just like being in the river and, casting a fly rod and the constant movement, and it was just rad, and I was hooked. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's one hell of a first date, I can say.
I know. Well, I didn't go on a second date with him because I remember at the end of it, I told him, I said, this was awesome. Like, I'm going to go get all the gear and I'm going to do this. And he started laughing at me and he goes, no, you won't be able to. And I was like, oh, buddy, you just lit my fire.
Oh man, that's the seed. You can never underestimate anybody because I mean now she's one of the best out there on YouTube teaching people how to fly fish.
I'm trying.
Like I've been fishing since I don't even know how long I can remember back, but fly fishing is one of those fisheries where it's probably the only fishery where I actually say that it needs a skill to do that. And I've casted a fly rod maybe once, but I just don't see myself, being pick up the spinner or pick up the fly. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stick to my spinning rod.
See, and I'm the opposite. I'll go out with my 12-year-old and he can outfish me. The kid's freaking amazing. But he'll pick up a spinning rod and I'll take my fly rod and we'll have competitions, whatever. But like I'm the opposite. I'm like nothing but fly or die. So.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, well, you mentioned your kid, and one of the things that drew me to following your page on this show, we're a big promoter of all types of family stuff, and you have 2 boys, and I see you being a single mom. Oh, you have three boys. Oh man, I shorted you. That's not good. But I see you're a single mom, and you teach them. You teach them the outdoor stuff, which is not something that is very, very common to see. There's a lot of single moms out there, and unfortunately, it's kind of sucks because they don't have that figure in their life to teach them the manlier things. But that's something you took on. You grabbed the bulls by the horn and you did it. Yeah,
I think it's super important. And I mean, I myself have kind of grew up like a tomboy, so I always was playing with the boys, playing basketball or whatever, like growing up. But I just always loved the outdoors, and I think that it could totally be good for all kids, but men and women. And it's just, I think a lot of women get out there and whether they're single moms or whatever. And I can't tell you how many women ask me to teach them how to fly fish or just even how to fish so they can take their kids. Just like bait fishing, right? Like how you power bait worms, whatever. And I think a lot of women get intimidated just to try it. But realistically, when I take women out versus men, women are usually better at it and they usually pick it up a little faster.
I've noticed that women are more teachable than men because we are, sorry guys, but we are very, very hard-headed individuals. And, my fiance, for example, like when I first met her, she had never went fishing a day in her life. And she saw how much I like it, saying she wanted to join me. And I thought that was awesome. And it probably took me a good 4 minutes. And she starts hooking fish left and right, and I'm just like, oh man, this is freaking great.
What does she think of it now? Does she like it?
Oh, now she's talking about she wants her own custom rod. She wants, So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's gonna break my pocket, but I'm okay with that. If every Sunday I get to go out there and do what I love with who I love, that's a great day for me.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as fly fishing is concerned, I see on your YouTube channel you have a lot of instructional videos.
Yeah, and a lot more coming out. I've just barely started posting those. I've been filming for months on stuff that I've just got to actually get it posted. So
is being an instructor of fly fishing something we can look forward to from the Relentless Angler in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of started all of this, like, long story short, I started this all because it was a hobby, right? And that's how like my Instagram and social media started, was me out there fishing and learning to fly fish, and it just kind of took off from there. But it's my goal is to have Relentless Angler be an entire brand. And there's some other stuff, some products and things that I'm like in the works on. There'll probably be a little time before they come out, but yeah, the instruction. And I get so many people that ask me constantly, like, basic fishing and fly fishing, like how-tos or how to tie a knot, and some of that stuff I put up because guess what? It's what I Googled or it's what I searched on YouTube. And there's all these tutorials by guys. And there's not very many by women. So I absolutely want to be able to like have that be available to the other side of the market that wants to be out there.
Absolutely. And I think for your brand, I mean, what you're doing is great. Like I said, I've been following you for a couple of years now, and you're blowing up all over social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, I'm assuming, Twitter,
TikTok, all the fun stuff, trying.
Yeah. So is being a full-time guide something you might be interested in?
No, I don't necessarily want to be a guide. I like fishing too. I love teaching people and I love getting people out there. And like some of the things I'm going to kind of tinker with a little bit, like this month, we're putting together like a father and son Father's Day like weekend where I can take out a couple different father-son duos and teach them how to fly fish.
That's cool.
And that's gonna be awesome. Rad, but I'm going to bring a couple other guides that can come help me just teach people the basics. So I love that, but I don't want to be a full-time guide. I mean, if I was in Florida and I had a boat and I was out there in my bikini with my fly rod, that might be different. But
yeah,
and I actually might do that at some point. It's something I've considered, but I still have little boys. I mean, my oldest is 12 and then my twins are 3. And so I don't have a ton of time to guide every day. And that's a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being a mom is a job in itself, and then you find the time to do everything that you do. I mean, I know I'm stretched out pretty thin, but just watching and observing, the lifestyle you're living, and it's like, man, she looks like she's on one of those Greek mythology boards, and she's tied up and just being pulled in every direction.
I am, but I love it. I thrive. I call myself the chaos coordinator because I thrive with a lot of things and a lot of motion, and it works well for me.
That's actually a great catchphrase, the chaos coordinator. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. I'm like, well, that I think God gave me twins because He knew I could handle. I call them the twinados, but we're busy. We're always on the go. My boys love to be outdoors. I love it, and so we take on a little more.
Well, as far as like camping and everything like that, you said you grew up doing that, and if you had to choose, the fabulous millionaire lifestyle or just the great outdoor lifestyle, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but what would you go?
Easy. I'm actually buying a camper this week so I can live up at the river all of July.
Oh,
I'm so stoked. Like, and I love, don't get me wrong, like I love nice things just like anybody else does.
Yeah.
But I am all about, like, the only reason I work hard and work the way I do is so I can travel and so I can go play more with my kids. Like anything in the mountains, right? You get it. Like you want to be out there on Sundays or whenever. Like, I would just be slap happy being in a camper and fishing every day of my life.
I mean, my perfect lifestyle, the way that I can maybe introduce it to people is saying where like the show Bush People meets Wicked Tuna. Like that would be my perfect lifestyle right there.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I haven't seen those, but I can assume what they probably are.
You've never seen Wicked Tuna? Oh man.
I don't watch TV.
Well, honestly, I doubt
Cocomelon and Netflix for the kids.
I doubt you have the time, to be honest with you.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as the camper goes, I mean, that's got to be something freaking awesome. You wake up, make your cup of coffee, walk outside, and just start fishing. That's got to be
Right?
something amazing.
Yeah. Well, I feel
So,
like a lot of us work so hard and like we get used to creating our own like tornadoes of to-do lists or things that we're trying to accomplish. When at the end of the day, like if you had just today, what would make you happiest? Right?
exactly, I
And if
agree.
it's getting out there on the river more and maybe make a little less money, to me, that's a no-brainer. Like get
Yeah,
out there more
absolutely. I
and
mean,
find things that make you happy. So
I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do this. You just got to stop and just take a look and actually intake what is around us, and
yeah.
I'm guilty of it just like everybody else is, you know what I'm saying? We're just so accumulated by life. We don't get to enjoy it. But as far as fishing goes, have you ever done any type of saltwater fishing?
So I think the one time that I went was in the Florida Everglades,
Okay.
and it was hands down. Besides my children's birthdays, like the day they were born, besides those
Yeah.
days, it was hands down the best experience of my life, and I absolutely loved it. We did fly fishing for tarpon
Oh.
and sharks and snook and speckled trout, and it was absolutely unreal. Like catching a freaking tarpon on a
Yeah.
fly rod is like the
That's
coolest
gotta
thing
be.
I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I've caught them on spinner rods, and that in itself
Yeah.
is amazing. I can't
rad.
imagine on a fly rod. I'll never forget
Yeah.
the look on my customer's face. That charter from Utah, he wanted wholeheartedly to catch a barracuda on a fly.
I love
And
it.
I'm just like, hey, bud, these fish have teeth, and he's just like, just tell me what we got to do. So I like finagled some type of wire mesh
Yeah.
onto his fly rod. And when he hooked on it, you ever see that meme of that kid's face? Like, it was just like
epic.
that. And watching this cuda just peel the drag off his fly rod, that was one of the most good feelings I've ever had, knowing I
Yeah.
put him on that fish like that.
Hearing
And
that sound when the fly line starts going through the reel.
yeah, and he's sitting there like this, and I'm just like, you might want to tighten your drag. He's like, this is a fly rod, man. There's no drag. I'm like, oh. But the one thing that I do want to see be caught on a fly rod, I personally don't want to catch it because I feel like it'd be like a major mess. I would love to see a mahi mahi on a fly. That is something I would love to watch
That
because
would be pretty cool.
yeah, when we catch them on plugs and SP minnows, it's already such an amazing thing. So to see it take this little fly, that'd be something that I would probably pay $5,200 to watch.
Right? And that's, I mean, it's an experience, and that's like all the bucket list fishing, like whether it's on a fly rod or like a spin rod, like. And I've even been looking more into like bass fishing just because it's such a bigger market and because I don't have an experience with it. So I want to try it more. But I know that like a lot of people have like a lot of anglers out there, like you, me, all of these guys listening or, people listening, they probably have these bucket list fish they want to catch. And like, that's one of those things like for next year, I'm trying to put together some trips for like, get a group of 10 people that are like, okay, these are the 10 fish we're going to hit this year. And we're going to like, just check them off. And that to me is like, that's so rad. Like you're saying barracuda on a fly. I'm like, I gotta go look that up. I'm gonna YouTube that after because I've never looked that up. Like I've never seen a barracuda on a fly.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that I wish that I had the GoPro on me for.
Yeah.
But just watching it, I wasn't even holding the rod, and I was just like, "Yo, this is sick."
Yeah. Like, I wish I had this on camera. That's so cool.
The only thing I kept thinking about was this guy is gonna rip all of his skin off his hand trying to hold that fly. That's all I kept thinking about. But technically we landed it because he did touch the leader and everything. But I just used the de-hooker because that's not something I want to put my fingers near its mouth.
Yeah,
that's definitely something.
I have a question for you because I know a lot of the guys out. This is out in like saltwater area, right? When you were doing this.
Yeah, I was in the Florida Keys.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so with I know a lot of guys that it's mixed from what I hear. Because when I posted about me catching a tarpon on a fly, and I was like, it was leadered.
Yeah.
And we're like, half the people were like, that's not caught, and then half of them were like, it's leadered, it's caught. So what do you?
Well, the way that I think about that is If you leader it, it's a catch. And specifically for a tarpon, because it's illegal for us to take it out of the water, it definitely counts as the catch. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, me personally, I would have to be holding it to say that it's a catch. But because
Yeah.
of the circumstance and the regulation of that fish, I
Okay.
believe that if you touch the leader, it's considered a landed.
Yeah.
That's
I
definitely
didn't
my
know
opinion.
that. So why
Yeah.
is it that you see people holding them up out of the water? Like that's illegal? Is that in just
Well,
park?
it is, and I'm pretty sure that when they posted that picture, they got a message from the FWC letting them know they're in trouble. But that's
I'm gonna
just,
research that. Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, that's not something that I'm willing to risk my license on losing.
I agree with that. Yeah, I would leader and call it good.
Yeah, pretty much. I got extremely lucky. I was fishing out of Stewart one time, and I was on this place called the Roosevelt Bridge. I saw a tarpon jumping around. I throw out a rattle trap. I hook it, and I'm walking towards the beginning of the bridge, and there's floating docks. And this is probably one of the weirdest moments of my life. I'm trying to get my lure back. It's an $18 lure. I want my lure back.
Understandable.
And
Yeah.
this fish jumps out of the water onto the floating dock, spits the hook, and he looks at me like, "Come on, jerk, take a picture. I'm ready to go back." And I was so, I don't even know what the word to say is. I guess you can say bamboozled.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
So I take the picture and I throw him back in the water. And as soon as he swims off, the FWC is walking down the bridge. And I'm just like,
No.
I am so lucky. But yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, but
You got your pick.
that was a moment where it clinched up a little bit, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in trouble. But I gotta ask, but before we take off in a little bit, what is one of your bucket list fish that you just have to catch before the end of your days?
Ooh, definitely golden dorado.
Golden Dorado.
Yeah.
That's basically like the West Coast version of a mahi mahi, maybe.
I don't know. I know that you can. I've seen them down in like Argentina and a lot of places like that. But people, from what I see, they have to like hike in to go get these, and it's like.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of like F3T or IF4? They're like fly fishing film festivals. Have you ever heard of these?
I haven't.
Okay, so there's.
I'm very non in the fly fishing scene.
Okay, so fly fishing super niche, right? Like it's very like a smaller part of the fishing industry, super small, not a ton of like there's money in it, but like as far as like influencers and stuff, there's not a ton.
Yeah.
But like bass fishing is like huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, for fly fishing, they have these like fly fishing film festivals that they'll do, and they'll pay certain people. Companies will come in like Sims or Yeti or Costa will come in and they'll pay to sponsor these trips. And so that's where I learned more about the Golden Dorado. There's another fly fishing angler, April Vokey, and if you follow her, she's like incredible. And she went down south somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but she caught this Golden Dorado. And I think she has the YouTube video up, and it is one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. And it was so badass watching this chick just out there like roughing it and just crushing it on these Golden Dorado out in their rivers. Like it was, and they had to travel in. It wasn't like this high maintenance trip by any means. They were camping on the river, like super cool. So yeah, it's a bucket list now that I've seen that. So
Awesome, man. That is something that I would like to see, and I would like to see you post that video too, for sure.
yeah, I know.
There is one more thing that I would like you to see. There is another lady angler that I've been following for years. I've had countless conversations with her. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Virginia Salvatore from California.
I'm not, but if I saw her page, maybe.
Yeah, her handle is Unforgettable Virginia. She runs a charter called Gate Crashers. Her entire fishery is white sturgeon.
Wow.
I would love California. Yeah,
Okay,
I would love
great.
to see you go out there with your fly rod and catch a white sturgeon. That is something I would love to watch.
You know what's funny is, so I'm actually I'm supposed to go out to Nashville in a couple weeks, and I'm going to go out with a really good friend of mine recommended this guide out there for bass. He's like one of the best, apparently. Okay. And so I'm going to go out with him. And I called him the other day, and I was telling him, I was like, I'm going to bring my fly rod out. And, no, it wasn't him. It was someone else. So I was telling him we're going to go out. And I'm like, I'm taking my fly rod out. And they're like, not on a bass. You're not catching that. And I was like, watch me. Watch me. I was like, I'm going to get out there with my fly rod. I'm going to do it. It'll be fun. A ton of people catch bass, but like over there, like these guys have legit like they've got their bass boats and all their bass gear, and they're bass junkies. And I'm coming in as a fly fishing person, and we're very different in some degrees, a little competitive, right?
Yeah.
So I would totally be down to go with her and do that.
This is one of the reasons why I'm also missing the fact that Aaron is not here right now. Is Aaron lives in Sebastian, Florida, and he has stumbled across a phenomenal lake that is probably in the next 5 years going to be a world-class tournament bass lake.
Awesome.
It's called Headwaters, and he goes out there with his flats boat, and he keeps sending me pictures of these 5, 6, 7, 8 pound fish. And Aaron is not really, I would say, a dedicated bass angler.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there are bass out there that are in the teens, but because that's not his main fishery, he's probably not figuring out how to target them. But if you want to go do some bass fishing, Aaron is one of those people who will definitely put you in a hot spot and get you some fish for sure.
Yeah. I want to try it, because I can't really say, when people ask me questions about all this, I'm such a fly fishing junkie that I'm like, I gotta go experience some of this other more conventional type fishing and see what I think about it, because maybe I'll love it. Maybe it'll get me to do that too. We'll see. I'll never give up fly fishing, but we'll see.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, let all the listeners and viewers know where they can find you, check you out, check out your videos and stuff like that. And I'll make sure I put links in the description down below.
Awesome. Yeah. So they can find me. My website is relentlessangler.com. And on all social media platforms, I'm Relentless Angler. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. So.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And wish you the best. Tight line. Oh man, it was great to hear from Jordan, man. And she is definitely a badass chick. She is not one of those girls who just do it for the gram. That's just something she really loves to do, man. She's pretty badass with a fly fishing rod, and she works those streams out in Utah up and down. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I missed the episode, man. It sounds like you have somebody that's dedicated to the trout fishing up there. Not only trout fishing, but fly fishing for the trout. And, not only is she celebrating herself, but she's celebrating, fishing. So how could you not, love the two of them in one place, man? I mean, come on.
I mean, honestly, I was really souped up of excited to when she was telling the story of how she caught a tarpon on a fly. That's pretty cool. I can't imagine what that's like, because luckily I've had the privilege and the honor to catch a couple of tarpon already.
Yeah.
And, on a spinning rod, it's definitely something that is just like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? But on a fly rod, man, kudos to her for sure.
No, for sure, guys. If you guys haven't had the privilege of hooking into a tarpon yet, I have not landed one. I'm not going to BS anybody about this, right? But I've hooked into a good dozen of these things, and it's like, if you guys are familiar with a Banshee, a four-wheeler, it's like popping the clutch and just hitting friggin' power band and holding the hell on, not knowing what's going to happen, So that, for her to land that on a fly rod is that speaks volumes. It really does.
Yes, guys, and as me and Jordan talked about, when you do hook up to something like a tarpon, because of the regulations, if you do leader it, I consider that a land. Our little gift from Extreme Bait Tanks to all the listeners out there.
Yeah, guys, so we're partnering with Extreme Bait Tanks. Angler Talk 10, right? Angler Talk 10 will give you a percentage off. When I tell you an amazing product that this guy has, dude, Chris will vouch for me. I have the most beautiful tank sitting outside here. We're going to get some videos coming up soon. But if you guys are interested in anything from Extreme Bait Tanks, Angler Talk 10 will get you a percentage off of his product. And anything could help, guys. I mean, everything will help. So
absolutely, man. I mean, Damon sent me over a pump that I put in one of the coolers in the back of my truck. And last week when I went out bass fishing, I wanted to bring a handful of live bunker. I mean, we ended up just jigging for them, but it was nice knowing that I still had a handful of live bunker there, and I put them in there 2 days before we went out fishing, because that was the only chance I had to go get them, and they stayed alive for those 2 days without an issue.
Oh yeah, I mean, Chris, that's just a pump, man. Can you imagine 2 of them inside of a tank with the lights and the aeration? I mean, guys, it is friggin' unreal, the information that, or the amount of work that this guy has put into these tanks to keep your bait alive. And Chris, he's even come out with a new way to separate and disperse the water to where it's not spinning your shrimp around a tank. So I have that new piece he just had sent me. I'm going to hook it up here in the next couple of days, show you guys what it's like fully packed full of shrimp, and not to kill the shrimp. I mean, gee, this guy is always innovating his product to make it bigger and better.
Absolutely, guys. And if you haven't seen Aaron's videos of the bank take setup that he's got on the cart, you need to check out his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description down below. And just check it out. I mean, this is pretty freaking badass. I mean, this takes badassery to another level for sure.
Yeah, we definitely made the Cadillac of beach cars or pier cars. So, any questions at all on what I did, how I did it, or how I got to the place I am now, please, I mean, don't feel free or don't feel weird about reaching out to me. I'm always reachable through either Instagram, through Facebook, or even direct message, guys. I'm here.
Absolutely, guys. Well, unfortunately, this week that's all the time that we have. So we're gonna leave you out with he's Aaron, I'm Chris, and we're out. Tight lines.